How's it going, ladies and gentle nerds? This video I wanted to dedicate to you, the viewer, for watching and subscribing to my channel. So to the best science fiction fans in the YouTube verse, I'm going to answer your feedback that showed up in the comment sections of some of the videos. So this first comment says, I'm so happy the Soviet nuclear ship was recovered. Is quite unique. Did you fill in the gap, or where did you get the information from? So season 3 ends in 1996, and then there's a 7-year jump forward to 2003 for the beginning of season 4. So as far as I know, there is no official canon for these time jumps that take place in between the seasons. So I had to extrapolate from the information that was given in the episodes. In season 3, Commander Baldwin did state that he was impressed how the Soviets were able to remotely guide their spacecraft into a stable orbit. And because this is a valuable and large space asset, I tied that in to the development and building of Ranger 1. But of course, the Russian Mars 94 ship never showed up in season 4. But then again, the only ships we did see in season 4 was the Unity Mars transport ship, Ranger 1, and Phoenix Station around Mars. So this next question, what kind of software do I use? So for the video and audio layout, I use HD Movie Maker Video Editor Pro. If I remember correctly, it was a trial version that came installed on my Windows 10, and I just paid the $19.99 to get the permanent edition. And it was a really good deal because there's no monthly fees, and it's just a one-time payment, and then you have the program permanently. It's really user-friendly and easy to learn. Basically, it's just an upgraded version of when they used to give you Windows Live Movie Maker. For the audio, up to just recently, I used to use a digital recorder, but I dropped it too many times. It was making a bunch of crackling sounds. So then about 4 weeks ago, I found this Razer Siren Mini microphone on sale, like a clearance sale for $19.99. I think normally it's about $50, and hopefully this audio sounds a little bit better than before. And for the design graphics and ship layout charts, I just use Adobe Photoshop and save those as JPEGs and just then insert them into the Movie Maker editing program. And there was a few questions on whether there's going to be a season 5 continuation for All Mankind. So the best way I can answer that is there's a really popular YouTube channel, and he was invited to the season 4 episode 10 premiere showing. And when he was asked on one of his live streams if there's going to be a season 5, he shook his head yes multiple times without directly answering the question. So take that for what it is, just me telling you I watched another YouTuber answer with body language, but he's usually spot on with his predictions. So I'm going to say yes, there will be a season 5 of For All Mankind. So this next comment, this person says, I don't get why they didn't follow the actual Apollo applications program. The show got so silly when they started sending space shuttles to the moon, I couldn't finish the Mars season. Well, in the For All Mankind timeline, the Apollo program continued into the late 1980s and possibly even the early 90s. If I remember correctly, there was 19 Saturn V launches and around 13 Saturn 1B launches compared to the 10 or 12 total that took place in our timeline. And also considering the technology when they built the space shuttle was 10 years ahead compared to our timeline. And when they were building the space shuttles, there was already a Jamestown base on the moon. So even though the space shuttles look identical to our space shuttles, obviously they were designed to actually go to the moon and orbit the moon. And it was mentioned there were relay stations in orbit for the space shuttles to dock to and to refuel before making the translunar injection burn. So my extrapolation would be that the space shuttles had a more advanced thruster and propulsion system. Or they could have been equipped with a small fission drive, like a predecessor to the Nerva nuclear propulsion that was put in the Pathfinder OV-200 series shuttles. And also, they had begun actively harvesting the moon rock for the helium-3 and deuterium to transport back to Earth for the fusion reactors they were building, combined with the Apollo cargo rockets and the Sea Dragon, the massive cargo haulers. But to answer the question, could our space shuttles go to the moon, is no. But I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that they could have designed a space shuttle to actually go to the moon. So this next comment comes from Modelmaker 172 saying, I've been building plastic models of various subjects for over half a century now. Cool. Many of these projects have been real space, both actual hardware and proposed hypothetical subjects, as well as science fiction. Watching For All Mankind, I often wondered what it'd be like to spend a few hours in this alternate timeline exploring a hobby shop. Even if I couldn't bring anything back with me, just window shopping would be an incredible experience. Yes, I would definitely want to go along with you to that hobby shop, Mr. Model Mark. So this next comment was from the Season 4 spacecraft video, and it says, I would love to see how big Jamestown Colony is by this point. Yeah, so the last time we saw Jamestown Colony was in 1996 during Season 3. So going back to 1973, that's a period of 23 years, Jamestown Base had expanded by about a factor of 10. So then from 1996 to 2003, that's 7 years, I would say Jamestown Colony had at least doubled in size, if not quadrupled in size. So this next question from the Spirits in Gray asked, where did I get all the Pathfinder names? So off the top of my head, Vanguard and Independence, I believe, was listed on one of the fan wiki pages. And then I looked up a list of proposed space shuttle names that haven't been used, and I compared those to the alternate 10 space shuttle names used in For All Mankind. And I just picked out Explorer and Constellation for the last two OV-200 Pathfinder shuttle names. So Gerard Schroeder asks if I have any 3D models. No, unfortunately, rendering is far beyond my capabilities. But for all you designers out there that can create rastered layers from screenshots, I am definitely peanut butter and jelly. And TSR 207 says, excellent video, but the narration reminds me of Agent X-20 from the puppet series Stingray. I'm going to definitely consider that as a compliment. You know, I really do get a lot of feedback about my voice. You know how you can't hear the sound of your own voice? Well, apparently I cannot hear the sound of my voice at all because I was too boring, I talked too slow. And Romeo says, I like how you sound both interested and surprised, LOL. Well, thank you, Romeo. Why does this dude say every sentence like it's a question, emphasizing random words? And the Windsmith responds, the voice has a certain hypnotic quality that ensnares the listeners with its monotonous rhythms. One thing at a time, everyone. I just upgraded from a digital recorder to a microphone, and I'm trying to figure out StreamYard, so maybe one day I'll do a live stream and everybody can be happy. And this next comment comes from Jesus Guerrero 1086, who is a subscriber to the channel. Thank you so much. And 1086 says, I love the background for the DPRK ship. Would love more information about it. So this is a Soyuz Deep Space Explorer concept that would have been the next iteration from a Soviet lunar module and lander. And because the North Koreans launched their Mars mission in September of 1996 and arrived at the Red Planet 5 months later, making this at minimum an atomic-powered space vehicle, which in turn was a smaller variant of the Soyuz N-1 nuclear-powered rocket. So Tech Team 26 asked in the Mars spacecraft video, why didn't I mention anything about the Sea Dragon heavy lift vehicle? From my understanding, the Sea Dragon was a nuclear-powered rocket to lift massive amounts of cargo to the moon while having a quick turnaround and being reusable. Due to the high volume need for lunar resources, I don't believe it was intended for interplanetary space travel. So Chili Fox 2078 says the Alien franchise has a surviving rebranded USSR, so that could be an argument for a For All Mankind prequel. That is true. Blade Runner and the Alien franchise do have a Soviet Union that did not collapse also. So this next comment says, it has been hinted at officially that For All Mankind could be a predecessor to Battlestar Galactica. I'm not really sure how that could work because Caprica was in another star system a long time ago. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. And this next comment says, For All Mankind is not a prequel to Star Trek, as that's still just a TV series in that timeline. And I don't want it to be a prequel to The Expanse either. Honestly, can't we just have the show's history play out in its own way and not tied to anything else? Is that too much to ask? Yeah, that was just a hypothetical poll I put up in the community tab. I really don't think For All Mankind is a prequel to anything, but it's always fun to speculate. But I guess if I had to pick one, probably it would fit more with The Expanse, just due to it seems like Mars is going down that road towards independence. But like I said, it's just speculation, yeah. It's always fun to speculate. And now for some channel admin, Masters of the Air is set to premiere on Apple TV Plus, which is about the 100th Heavy Bomber Group of the U.S. Army Air Corps in Europe from 1942 through 1945, which I plan on making some videos covering that content in some manner or fashion. And then Dune Part 2 is finally being released on March 1st of this year, which I assume everyone is looking forward to that. And then coming in August, we get House of the Dragon Season 2, which is also exciting to wait for. And then hopefully Star Wars Andor Season 2 will be coming out this fall or possibly in 2025. Help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's our only hope. And there's a sci-fi show coming out February called Constellation, which I don't really know that much about, but it could be promising. And looking way off into the future, we got Blade Runner 2099 coming out in 2025. Alien Romulus is coming out this summer. And the good news is there's no paranoid android. And then one of these days, I'm going to do a live stream if I can ever figure out this StreamYard stuff. It's complicated. I just want to yell at clouds and get off my lawn because, stuff used to be good and now it's not.